I'm very proud to announce the first watch made under my own brand, of course Lume, but more specifically for the watches that I handmake and sell. These watches will be under the sister branding called Yoon, which is my surname. It's helpful to distinguish my mostly media work as part of Lume and now my more handmade watches as Yoon. But with that said, here's the first piece that I designed and put together called the Yoon OPENWORKED. If you want to place an order for the Yoon OPENWORKED, please shoot me an email. It'll be on the screen and in the description box below. I've been working on this for quite a long time just to get the design right and figure out how to make this style, which is entirely done in-house by me alone from raw material to finished product. Literally, I'm taking metal and processing it into what you see in the watch. I wanted the best material, so I obtained some grade 5 titanium, which is very expensive but worth it because you end up with a high quality product if done right. I'll show some limited footage of making the dial, but please bear in mind that this is a prototype, so the finishing was not done to the extent that a final version would be. So here is the cut dial before any finishing is done. Getting a good finish from the start is also part of one's skill, but I really wanted to add some hand finishing because I always feel some type of unexplainable charm to it. First, the shape is refined to get clean lines, which requires a fair bit of material to be removed from the stock. Carefully positioning tools not to grind away undesired areas, while taking note of pressure to avoid any warping of the material because dials are fractions of a millimeter thick. Titanium is stronger than most stainless steel alloys, but the opposite when tempered, and it's also easier to flex and deform, so it's not as easy to work on as steel. Eventually, I'm happy with the shape after close inspections with a loupe, so it's time for surface finishing. The initial titanium stock had a directional grain to it, so I needed to get that out without removing unnecessary material. The finishing started in one direction, gradually moving up to a finer surface, then upon even distribution of lines, a more general approach to polishing. I didn't want a mirror finish because that's not what my design called for. I wanted something in between a matte and polished finish, like a semi-polished effect. This took quite a bit of time due to the nature of finishing titanium, but eventually I got to my desired result and proceeded to the fun part, adding some color to its life. Whether it's the finishing or anodizing process, this took extensive tests and a lot of wasted titanium, but the end result is exactly what I wanted. A really interesting finish and color. Of course, through the magic of editing, this seemed pretty quick, but it's actually multiple days of work. I didn't show most of what was done for time's sake, like milling and attachment of dowel feeds, but all in all, I love how much of my handwork goes into this one specific part. Now it's onto the bench to assemble the Yoon OPENWORKED. This is probably what most of you guys are familiar with, as I've been doing this for many years at this point. Start with the movement inspection and just admiring how cool the plates are. Get the dial on there and just more admiring because it's finally on a movement. It follows some cleaning, then onto handset installation. First the hour hand, and of course more inspection with cleaning. Then the same is done for the minute hand while taking note of spacing because there is no quote-unquote dial underneath it. And of course, finally the second hand. Once that's done, I do the case assembly for the inner components, cleaning, and a sapphire crystal installation which has AR on the underside. Everything looked good to go, so the crown stem work is done, and I took some time to put in my logo, which I'll explain later in the video. All that was left is working on the back, and this is the first model to receive an engraved and dated case back. Before we see the completed watch, I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community of thousands of inspiring classes ranging from photography, illustration, freelancing, product design, and much more. New classes are launched each week, and they're also ad-free for you to stay concentrated. To be able to physically have this watch made, the design had to start out as a vector file, specifically through Illustrator, which is not the easiest program to navigate for beginners. But if you're looking to make your own dial designs, there's great classes on Skillshare like Daniel Scott's Essentials training. He goes over all the tools you need and in which scenarios to use them, which will greatly kickstart your process and save you so much time. The first 1,000 people to use the link on my description box will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. If you want to support my channel, please do give it a try. It's free. Thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, which helps me make videos for you guys. So here we have it. This is an open work design so you can see through the movement, including the balance wheel, which is mostly finished in gunmetal. This tone pairs really well with the dial's particular shade of blue, which is not painted. It's done properly by anodizing. This is the same bluing process that you see higher end brands do, whether it's to their hands, dial, case, or movement components. I chose blue because it's my favorite color, but I also made another version of the Yoon OPENWORKED with gold accents. So we have a gold anodized dial, gold hands, and my favorite part, a matching gold balance wheel that peeps through within the movement. This is a feature unique to the gold version only, unfortunately, but I feel like this is one of those personal preferences thing. Let me know how you feel about it. Now to complete the look, I paired each of the watches with matching buckles, which is like the icing on top, but for all you bracelet fans, I got you covered as well, as you've probably seen in the b-roll just before. I think the added touch of color, whether that's gold or blue, isn't too overpowering, yet provides enough character to an otherwise monochromatic design. But in general, these will be offered in light blue, dark blue, teal, green, gold, purple, bronze, rose, silver, just so many colors are possible. Any of the mentioned colors can be requested, maybe even more than what I said, and even like a rainbow spectrum. One of the key points of this watch is the lume. I wanted this to be functional without being distracting, so I decided to go with lume tands and also a fully lumed ring around the dial. Not only can you read the time in the dark, but I find it really cool design-wise. Overall, I'm just so happy with how my first branded watch came out. It is much nicer than what I initially envisioned. Also, really proud to have my Yoon logo on the dial and on the case back and crown. Funny thing about the crown is, logos are nearly impossible to keep straight since gaskets change shape from wear or temperature, so I picked Y as the logo. It makes sense while straight up, but I actually prefer the look of it upside down because it resembles a Korean character. Just another small detail as part of my brand that I thought of when I was in the designing phase. This is all possible because I'm making these by hand with all of the tools and the knowledge that I've built up so far. I'm very excited to continue learning more about machining so that I can make more intricate and interesting parts for Yoon watches. There's so many more tools that I want to add to my arsenal aside from my more traditional watchmaking hand tools, but they are quite expensive and take up a lot of time to figure out. So I really appreciate all of you guys for supporting my work by subscribing, liking, and watching these videos. Of course, a big thank you to my clients who've ordered watches or services from me before, in addition to my YouTube channel members, of which I encourage all of you guys to join if you like to further support my brand. Channel members get access to exclusive content like detailed videos about how I'm making these dials and what equipment I'm adding to my workshop. I do want to make a members only Discord, so a lot of things are planned. The Yoon OPENWORKED is one of many watches that I plan to release in the coming future, so please do stay tuned for those. It took a lot of time and effort, but I'm very happy and satisfied. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram at lume_shot, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, so first, ignore the tape on the wall. I still need to paint the door and I don't know if I'll get to that soon. Anyways, I've been meaning to ask you guys, and specifically my channel members, which type of content you guys want to see. I know most of you guys are interested in the mod videos, but what about the mod videos do you find so interesting? Is it the build process that you find interesting, or is it the final watch? And if there's anything you want to see that's not modding related but watch related in general, do let me know about that as well. This is for content to be posted on the main channel and also the specific channel members only content. Like if you want me to check out a particular tool, or if you want me to show you my workshop or something like that. I do have things planned, but I wanted to get more of you guys' feedback. So yeah, the first Yoon watch is done. It's an open work design. I've been into open works for some reason lately. The second design is in the works. I'm thinking about doing some type of aviation watch, so stay tuned for that. Alright, I will see you guys in the next video.